So we're excited about Mavodelpar because what Mavodelpar is, it's a drug in a class called PPAR delta agonists, and the PPAR is a receptor that sits outside the nucleus of the cell, and when you target that receptor, it activates many genes in the cell. So what you're trying to do is to activate genes in the cell that are involved in energy metabolism. And that's what PPAR delta controls, the genes involved in energy metabolism. If you stimulate PPAR delta, you upregulate, you increase the function of the genes involved in generating new mitochondria and in improving the function of mitochondria. So we thought this would be a really good medicine to consider in patients with PMM where mitochondria are not working very well. So PPAR delta stimulates specifically the PPAR delta agonist receptor with agonism by increasing the function. It regulates these genes, it makes those genes more active, and then those genes are involved in improving the function of the mitochondria and the number of mitochondria within the cells. First, we did a study in which we caused patients to lose muscle strength. And this was done by immobilizing the leg for 2 weeks. You know, when you put a cast on a leg for a few weeks, the muscle, you lose muscle strength. And you can regain that muscle strength as soon as you take the cast away and you start exercising again. But what we did is we took patients and we divided them in 2 groups. One group received a placebo, that's a dummy medicine, and the other group received the medicine we are exploring, this investigational drug, Mavodelpar. The patients who received Mavodelpar, when we took out the cast and they were able to move their leg again, had retained more strength than the patients that had received the placebo. So what that study told us is the drug targets the muscle and it can preserve the muscle strength. And that was very, very important for us to understand. Second, we went to a study where we did an open label study, meaning all the patients received Mavodelpar. And these were 17 patients that completed this study and were treated for a total of 12 weeks with Mavodelpar. And in those patients, we looked at multiple studies to try to evaluate how the drug would potentially affect these patients. We did, for example, a 12-minute walk test to see how far they can walk in 12 minutes. And we saw an improvement in the meters that patients were able to walk after 12 weeks of treatment. We also measured how much oxygen they're using for exercise. And you use oxygen when your mitochondria are functioning more actively. So we saw an improvement in the oxygen consumption, and that tells us that the mitochondria are working a little bit better in these individuals. And the third thing is we asked them questions about how they feel, how we had questionnaires for fatigue, for pain, and for general functioning. And in all of those questionnaires, we saw improvements. So based on that, we designed the current trial that we're conducting. This is a pivotal trial, meaning that if this trial is successful, it will be the basis of evidence that we will use to go back to regulatory agencies like the FDA or in Europe, EMA, to do a submission to get the drug approved for use in patients with PMM. The main purpose of the study is to show that this drug can improve the ability of patients to walk longer distances and to feel better about their fatigue. And we're using questionnaires to evaluate fatigue, and we're using the 12-minute walk test to see if before treatment and after treatment patients can improve in their walk compared to patients who just received a placebo or a dummy medicine. The study is being conducted in multiple countries, in Europe, in the North America, both the US and Canada, Australia and New Zealand as well. We're very, very happy that we're almost at the very end of enrollment. I think that enrollment will be completed in the next few weeks, and it's a 6 months trial. So now the last patients that enter into the study, we need to follow them for 6 months, And at the end of these 6 months, we will be able to see who received drug, who received placebo, and are there differences in the response between drug and the placebo that would support moving forward with an application to the FDA. In the majority of countries, patients can then transition out of, when they finish this study, they enter into what we call an open label extension, meaning regardless of whether you receive drug or placebo in the study, in this second study, you will receive medicine and you receive it every day. And that study is a 2-year-long study where you don't need to participate in 2 years, but if you want to be there for 2 years, you will have access to the medicine for a full 2 years. And we evaluate the safety of the medicine over a long period of time. So that's going on at the same time, and it's moving along very well. And I think that we're poised to see results of these trials by the end of the year, and we're very excited about it because we're hoping that this medicine will do what we expect it to do.